So Dave's been flat out with the P1 build, getting, well, quite far on now, I would have thought. Obviously brand new clutch in place. Dave's happy with where the engine is now in terms of putting everything back together. As you can see, obviously we've got the new inlet as well, with the usual crinkle or wrinkle, depending how you look at it, finish, which is all good now. Everything's painted up, new time belts and everything on, and as you can see from the video, we are now planning to drop it back into the hole, start plumbing everything in, put the engine back on its mounts, and hopefully try and get the car running this week. We've obviously did some little digging and got all the correct torque settings. Obviously we've done the full engine this way, so everything's been set up with the correct torque settings just to make sure that we're 100%. Obviously the clutch, 16 Newton meters is the last thing to torque up before it drops into the hole. I've decided to take the sound of this video because this is me looking like I'm pretending to know what I'm doing. Basically all I'm doing is looking at Dave for instructions, trying not to touch any paint or scratch anything. I am mechanically not great, but I am an extra pair of hands. With good direction from Dave, we managed to get the engine in and sorted. So as you can see now, the engine is back in the hole. I'm not going to lie and paint it up with something that it's not. It took us a whole 26 minutes. And we have shortened the last clip down because nobody wants to see two Northern Spanner monkeys spending 26 minutes being paranoid and checking all the gaps and making sure that everything was right. But obviously we've managed to get on the engine mounts, which to be fair was a little bit of a pain in the backside, but we've got that now. The engine's lined up with the bell housing. We've got the dowels in now, so we just nipped it up on the engine mounts just to pull it in that last little bit. As you can see, obviously she's nearly on there now fully. But yes, a long time coming. She's back in the hole. So obviously a little bit more progress with it as well. As you can see, it is finally, after all this time, starting to look like a proper P1 now. As a kid, I'm sure everybody was probably the same. When you see these P1s, I always used to get excited about them because I just felt at the time they were really special. It was always this particular front end that I loved about the P1. It was the facelift crystal headlights. It just made it look slightly more modern and obviously a lot more cleaner at the front end. Obviously that P1 splitter for me was always a big thing, and then the lovely P1 badge in the centre of the honeycomb style grille as well. So as you can see, we've just literally placed this front bumper on this morning, so I just want to get a video and show you the front end. Not complete, but it's almost there. You can see obviously that the gaps in the corners aren't right, so we need to bolt that in properly, so we are going to get to that. Same at the rear. Obviously the rear is kind of hard to get to, but we've placed the back bumper on, and as you'll notice, obviously the car is up on axle stands. We have sent the wheels off to be refinished now. Again, in terms of detail, we've tried to go as far as we possibly can with this to get it as mint as we possibly can. So Dave has done a lot of research, and he's researching the correct lacquer, correct colour code for the wheels, correct stickers just to make sure that they're on and they're all done in the correct way, so the wheels should be absolutely fantastic when they come back. And as you can see, every area of the car now, from every angle, is starting to look like we want it to, like beautiful, fresh, a nice restored car. Even down like the calipers are obviously done now. Nice new discs on there. The shockers are obviously redone and painted up under there. You can see obviously all the tyre bars and everything are looking absolutely brand new. So we finally feel now like, well, I say we finally feel, to be honest, I've just done the video and Dave's starting to finally feel like the hard work now is starting to come together. As you can see, obviously under the bonnet, he's starting to look really, really nice as well. Again, we have renewed some parts under here. We've powder coated some little baits. We put a new starter motor on. Obviously a few bits of new bolts in places. We had the rocker cover redone. And basically the look that we were trying to achieve with this car is we didn't want to go to have it like where it looked too messed about. We wanted it to look fresh, but we didn't want it to look like it just kind of rolled out the factory. We wanted to have some kind of originality to it still, so obviously we've left the top mount in the cooler, and we've left a few little bits, but it was just to basically freshen it up so it looked pleasing on the eye, and I think we've definitely achieved that with the car. So while we've obviously been on with it as well, Dave has obviously was eager to get the first startup done, so we have obviously primed the fuel and pulled some fuel through it, and much to our pleasure, which we're going to give you a shot off in just a minute, it runs very, very well. Believe it or not, we should have maybe videoed the first startup. I know that's a bit of a letdown, but we were just obviously anxious to get it ready. I was away, Dave was on his own, he just wanted to kind of get it running. So we're going to show you a startup video, not the first startup, so sorry about that, but we'll show you how it's running. One thing I can confirm is obviously Dave generally is very happy with his work. First couple of clicks of the key, got the field pressure up, and then she just fired it to life and she runs very, very well. So we'll show you a little startup video and we'll show you what she's running like. Here we are, we'll just pop the little battery terminal on and we'll get you a little fire up. Hopefully it does start up and run well, otherwise I'll obviously look like a liar on the video, so let's hope for the best. I'll just show you around the back while we're waiting. Again, obviously into little areas, as you can see it just looks really nice under there. Rear bumper's just placed on as well. Here he goes. Obviously goes without saying, as you know from the old videos, obviously all new belts and everything as well, so this concludes our video, and obviously as you can see we are getting on really, really well with the P1 now. We think at this point we are probably 3 to 4 weeks for completion. Where we've got to go from this particular point is, obviously we're going to get the wheels back, get it on the floor, we're going to have a little test drive, make sure everything's right and everything's obviously stacked up where it should be. Car's going to go in for detail, it'll have a fresh MOT, and basically we'll just do one more ramp check and get everything in place. At that point, the car was only ever built to sell, as obviously you've been watching the video, you already know. So if you are interested, obviously we are taking interest at this point. The guarantee that we'll give you is that this car will be everything that we promise and more. But again, thanks for staying tuned. And for David Triple R, and the next instalment will be the car going for MOT and detail.